Double kill. Triple kill. Quadra kill. Penta kill. Welcome.
Hello and welcome to the very first live OzLoL podcast. This is episode 48 and it's our anniversary episode. Yay! So
the higher crowd.
It is the higher crowd. So we've got cake. I've got ice cream cake, Vienna, because ice cream cake is the ultimate form of civilization. And to share in this awesome moment of eating cake is Ralph Vespucci Panabianco.
Yo, what up?
And Stephen Clerical Error Garstone, who actually has no cake.
Happy anniversary, OzLoL.
Steve has no cake. Steve has no
Steve
cake.
has-
But we still love him anyway.
Get wrecked. No cake.
Yeah, wrecked. No cake.
Get
Um,
wrecked.
So, yes, we are sponsored by the Trinity Force podcast. If you can't tell by our logo on our stream, if you're watching the stream right now.
Oh, we're going to do one of those, are we?
We are. Well, I mean, we
For all
haven't...
of those who aren't watching right now.
I know, well, we
there's
can
all
do
this
that.
interesting
Those
stuff
ones.
happening on the screen.
That's it. They're gonna, you come and watch. We're streaming. If you are not watching the stream and you're listening at home, at twitch.tv/tforce podcast, we are now going to be streaming on Mondays from 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So come and watch us. And you can also find the link to the stream on our website, which is ozlol.trinityforcepodcast.com. You can also find it. Sorry, go.
I was just going to say, now I'm loading up the stream so I can see what you're talking about. 'Cause this is our first live one, so I've got no idea
there
what's
you
actually
go.
on the screen. You continue doing your intro, I'll load up.
Well, we've got the thank you for watching image that we've had when we do the Oceanic Battle Arena, which is on Thursday night. See that segue? That was a beautiful segue.
Wow, that was very
voice.
classic.
It's very smooth. On Thursday nights from 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time is when we have the Oceanic Battle Arena. And that's 3 games for people from bronze to gold. And basically it's myself and Steve, and we commentate the game and talk about how you can get better. So make sure you join in. It's really good fun. We usually have plenty of space. The first game fills up quickly, but usually people play in the second and third game. So we always make room for new people. So make sure you come join us. And something else about it. Oh yes, I was going to say the VODs. So basically, if you go to youtube.com/tforcepodcast/videos, you will find all the VODs, and I'm in charge of that, so I should be getting them up on the night that we play. So week 6 is already up. Make sure you go check them out. And while you're checking things out, check out the Trinity Force podcast, which is the T-Force proper releases twice a week. It comes out on Tuesdays and Thursdays in podcast, and they stream. I think they stream. They stream Tuesdays and Thursdays, release Wednesdays and Fridays. And then there's the T-Force LCS Rundown, which just had a massive 2-hour episode talking about the LCS Super Week and what's going to be happening for the upcoming playoffs for EU and NA, which is very cool. And that probably does it for show news. Actually, we're just going to quickly talk about fantasy, because we've all the fantasy leagues have finished up, and I came second. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Oh my god,
And
I have no idea.
our
Don't
own
talk about where I came, please. Keep it a secret. No one is to know.
Ralph came
Please
last.
don't mention that I came last. That's very embarrassing.
and is the tradition when you have head to head in this, there is mystery skins involved.
Hang on. The rules of this keep changing every week. There is no way I'm buying someone else a mystery skin this week. No way.
Well,
forget it. Forget it.
No. Well, we
I'm really
thought.
glad he's had this reaction. I'm really glad that was...
I've given up, I think,
very
3
fun.
mystery skins this season so far, okay? I'm not giving up anymore.
Well, we thought, as a consolation prize, as Steve and us being magnanimous towards you, we thought we would give you a mystery skin from both of us, since you are yet to actually receive one.
Oh my god.
So I'm gonna do it right now. You can.
Okay, I'm pumped.
We'll
Pulse
get
by
you
Ezreal
to-
incoming, get ready.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's
Okay,
go nice and slow. While we're waiting for my stupid client to go, Ali Saomi, she's queen of the OzLoL podcast standings. She came first with 9 wins and 2 losses. So congratulations to her for coming first. As Modbrat said on Twitter, she is our queen. So, all right, Gifting Center, let's do this.
I get Eternum Nocturne. Not bad, actually. Not bad. It's one of the other ones, but I play Nocturne, actually, so that's quite good. I think I lucked out on that one. Thank you very much, friends. Well done. Well done.
She's in for a friend. Let's do this. All right, let's see what happens.
Am I getting 2 skins? Oh my god!
One for
Okay, I thought I was just getting one from the 2 of you. You pooled RP. Oh, what generous souls! I got Glaive Warrior Pantheon again, another champion that I play.
Nice.
So thank you. Very generous.
You're very lucky you only own 3 champions because that narrowed it down.
So true. All right. Now I feel like less of a.
You got a legendary skin out of that.
Yeah, I know. It's not bad at all. Well done. So I don't feel as much of a sucker for completely bombing out in almost every single round of Fantasy LCS.
Well,
so,
to be fair, I did warn you about the fact that you had 2 CLG players on your roster and you didn't change them.
Correct.
Even after I warned you. So
totally. To be fair, I forgot. So what can I say? It's just how it goes. That's it. So,
all right. Well, if you guys had a great experience, let us know. Tell us how much fun you had. Oh, Savvy's just joined the chat, and she's gonna find out in a sec that we crowned her queen.
I think it's probably fair then that I buy Somi a mystery skin then, considering you guys gave me 2 just then and she came first. Okay. I think it's probably fair that we do that. So maybe we'll do that. I don't even have her on my friends list, I don't think, so I'll have to add it to her. I'll have to give it to her maybe next episode.
Oh, maybe you can send me the RP and I'll send her the skin or something.
I don't trust you, man. I remember someone telling me about getting scammed for mystery skins. I distinctly remember someone warning me about these sorts of scams.
Having said that,
I don't know.
To be fair,
already sent her the mystery skin.
Oh, you're a good guy, Steve.
Nice. What a gentleman.
To be fair though, I wasn't actually talking to the guy over the internet in front of the internet. So there's a little bit more accountability there.
You weren't hosting a podcast with them as well, so that also factors in. Yeah, totally.
All right. Well, let's talk about some of the stuff that's been happening in the League of Legends scene over the last week. And there's been some pretty interesting developments on a number of fronts. So first up, let's talk about Nah. So if you Nah. It's going to be the sound of a million pun-based jokes or something. Ryder's revealed the next champion, which is Nah, the Missing Link. Essentially, he's a Yordle born a millennia ago who's trapped in ice. And he's on the PB. I actually didn't get a chance to play him. I meant to play him over the weekend. But essentially, he's a transformation champion, which doesn't have the same reliability. So basically, his passive is that as he does attacks, he builds up rage, much like Renekton and Shyvana and Tryndamere. And then when he reaches 100 rage, he transforms into Mega Nah. And he goes from this cute little Yordle with his big fuzzy ears into this huge big monster, and he looks pretty amazing. So
yeah, I think it was too hard to try and fit a feed him after midnight transformation trigger, so they've gone with the 100 rage thing. Yeah,
pretty much. Give him pizza and he explodes.
Nice, I like that idea.
So he's got like a boomerang throw, which is pretty cool. It's got everything about this champion, at least in his mini form, is just like super cute. So the little whirring sound it makes when he throws his boomerang is super cute. When he sort of runs around, he's really cute. Basically, he's like Teemo, except not a giant pain in the
pretty
ass.
much. He's like Teemo Mark II.
Yeah. And, oh my gosh, so he's got this, his E is hop, where he sort of bounces on somebody's head. And I nearly died of, like, cute overload. Like, you guys are familiar with Community, are you? You know.
Only a few episodes, not a regular.
Ever since you told me to watch it, I went out and I watched all 5 seasons.
Cool. Well, it's basically, I don't even remember this scene, but where Dean Pelton sees Jeff with the aviators on it, he dies on the floor and he's like spazzing out, just like, it was like that. So if you're a Community fan, you know what I'm talking about. But just is so, I know. Well, you got to do it. So anyway, it looks pretty cool. And also, interestingly, he's going to be a top laner. He's got percentage health damage on one of his abilities. So it looks like he might be pretty decent in the game as well. I guess it'll really come down to like how good the ultimate is in reality, because he goes a lot slower when he transforms. So that should be interesting to see.
I wonder how they're gonna. Is there any? There's no other character like this in the game that transforms at their own pace, and you really can't control it. There's nothing, or even similar. So I'm thinking like Renekton, the way he gets Fury or whatever, and that charges up, and it's a bit tricky to kind of like manage that resource. And
I'd actually compare him more. I'd compare him more to Rumble, in like you want to try and find the appropriate level to keep yourself at, so that when you need that ability, you can get it, and you're not forced to take it. You know.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how it goes. That's why actually they had a tweet with one of the designers like his ult is really powerful sometimes, you know. So I guess it's going to be quite situational. When he really gets going at the right time, he'll just completely dominate everyone. But if he gets going at the wrong time, then he'll maybe walk into a team fight 30 seconds later and have already blown his load, so to speak. I don't know.
I mean,
it's beeped out that comment.
I guess he's like you can manage his rage by just not attacking and stuff, because it's. If you stop attacking it, it goes away. So, I mean, really, you know, it'd be a bit like Rumble's ult, where you kind of, or his passive, where you're just sort of managing up to a point, like you're just sort of trying to tread that fine line between reaching 100 and not, you know, if that makes sense. So I guess, I mean, it's, you know, if you just stop attacking, he stops building up his rage. So I guess that's how you end up managing it, so you can kind of time it right, so you don't... You know, when they come to gank, it's not like you've just used your ult and it's just come down. I mean, it's not a gate. There's no cooldown on it. It's just when you reach 100 rage. So it's a bit like Shyvana, where as soon as you reach that 100, you use your ult. Anyway, that should be interesting.
The voice acting is like next level, though. It's so good. The character sounds. If you haven't checked out the voice acting bit on YouTube for Nah, please do, because it's like super, super good. Very, very solid.
Yeah, I'm hoping to actually do some streaming and see what he's like. So if you go to twitch.tv/OzLoL podcast, which is like the one we previously used for different things, that's where I'll be streaming. So just follow us on Twitter or Facebook and I'll post the link. But let's move on to some other stuff that's going on. So Team Builder is back. If you weren't aware, on Sundays, I think it's 3 p.m. to 1 a.m. on Sundays. It will be Team Builder, and you'll be able to work towards getting one of those snazzy little icons by playing 5 games. So make sure you check that out. We've got CGPL starts this week. So pretty much for the next 5 weeks, so till sort of September, where there's a LAN, this is the next round of CGPL. So this week you've got... So Wednesdays and Thursdays is looking like what the game's going to be. This Wednesday... you've got Legacy versus Team Unlimited, and your Soul Shell Chuffer versus NV. And then Thursday you've got, one of the teams we're about to talk about in a sec, X-Dreamers versus Direwolves, which is actually a new team started by Rippy, formerly of Dignitas, and a few other guys. I think Charlie's in that team. And then there's Legacy Sports versus NV. So 4 games this week. And so check that out. Again, through Twitter and Facebook, we'll post the links to the streams. And the big news, the huge news really for this team this week was X-Dreamers became the 2nd immunity squad. So congratulations to them.
Woo! Go team!
It's very exciting.
So I mean, what do you guys reckon of that? Like,
did they release this? They would have released a statement about that acquisition.
Statement was late last week.
Yeah, what did they say? What was the main content? I haven't read it.
They just really announced that it was happening. They didn't really go into a lot of details. But I'm really excited because it means I'm partly affiliated with Immunity now. So how about that? Moving on.
Cool. That is cool.
Oh. No, I'm really excited. I'm not sure what the inner workings are. They had like a little private members only discussion about it, and then hey, we got an announcement. What's the announcement? We'll tell you when it's announced. Oh, come on, guys. But yeah, no, very, very exciting news. It's gonna be weird because they're like always gonna be in the same division, because it's not like we've got, you know, like Curse and Curse Academy in North America, where like one's in the main league and one's in the Challenger League. Like it's gonna be like Immunity versus Immunity happening all the time. So what are they gonna call them? IM1, IM2? You know?
Yeah, something.
Be interesting to see what the. I actually want to talk to some of the commentators to find out what they're actually going to refer to them as.
Yeah. Shades of Korea, I suppose.
Team Immunity S, Team Immunity K.
Yeah, exactly. Team Immunity White Shield, you know.
Yeah.
It'd be like TIM2 or something.
Yeah.
Channel the full Korean team.
Yeah, that's it.
But it's nice. It's got a good, strong rep immunity as an organization. So I think the fact that they're growing to a second team, I think, is a really positive thing for the scene overall. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. I think we need more. I mean, yeah, we need startups, obviously, but I think we also need our existing brands to kind of branch out and put down their roots. So I think it's a strong move from Immunity doing this. I'm a big fan of it. I think it's great.
Well, up until recently, Avant had 2 squads, and in the not that distant past, X5 had, I think, 2 or 3 squads. So
and Eviscerate had like Tooth and Fang, and
yeah,
we've had
like
it before,
5 seconds.
But we've always had Immunity. Like it's going to be weird, like because like they all had like Tooth, Fang. We had Eviscerate and Ascension. You know, there was always like a keyword, but there's no real. You know, what are they? Team XD Immunity or something like what? Like they're going to have a. I don't know.
Oh well, we'll have to maybe get one of them onto the show and press them about it.
Totally.
Definitely.
All right, well, let's get into the main bulk of the show, which is going to be patch 4.13. So make sure if you're listening at home, pull up the patch notes. You can get on I'll actually put the patch notes in the chat because I'm a good guy.
I don't know about that, man. That's a big call.
I know.
I'm like,
well,
dude, we have the patch notes.
I just gave you a mystery skin, dude, when you beat me. So just saying.
It's Nocturne, by the way, not just any mystery skin.
Yeah.
So, actually, no, you gave me pants.
Okay, you got your pants.
That's true.
Now, we actually did talk about some of these, because this is part of our PBE discussion from last week. So we're actually going to skip over some of these champs, particularly like the jungle changes, so Evelyn, Lee Sin, Elise, but there's still heaps more to talk about. So let's starting off with another jungler. We're going to go down the page. So Hecarim. Hecarim has he's had his passive damage increased by 5% across the board, and his Q mana cost has gone down by, it's pretty paltry, 8 mana at max level. So
that's on a pretty short cooldown. That's the Q. That's the spam one. So that'll make a bit of a difference. So, and I want to just clarify it. Like he's gone from 25% at max rank to 30%, not rank, but at max level to 30% of his movement speed that he gains in attack damage. So that's what he's got from his passive. So you'll get an additional 5% at the highest end from the movement speed that you have purchased.
Yeah.
And it's 5%. Is it 5% at every single rank? I think it is.
Yeah, it's 5% at every single rank.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think.
Which, I mean, I guess if you think about movement speed, these going to have like 400 movement speed, so it's about 120 damage, I guess, probably. It probably work out to be around about that, which is not, it's not too bad. It's a nice buff, but I mean, really, it's not really going to make him hugely viable at the end of the day. So, it's nice, but he's still got issues, I guess, that they're trying to work through.
I think it's going to make him a lot more powerful in solo queue. For those who are currently playing Hecarim, I think he's just going to be stronger. I mean, especially because people seem to be buying mobility boots again, so which is weird.
It is weird.
Never understood that on Hecarim.
Yeah, because he loses his movement speed when he gets in. So
yeah. So basically, the point where you want to be doing more damage, you lose all the damage.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely Swiftness boots is the way to go for him. Swiftness boots. Well, I mean, there's really no point just building movement just to get more damage because it doesn't really work out that much.
Because, buy it alongside what you would normally get. Don't build towards it.
Yeah.
Don't make the mistake of going, oh, Vlad gets ability power from HP. I'm just going to build pure HP because it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Build him like an AP caster, but HP items count towards your ability power. So some are better than others. So same argument there.
That's it. So you got Olaf changes. So his Undertow has gone down by 1 second, which is kind of nice. His Vicious Strikes now gives a little bit more health, with the healing from missing health, and his Ragnarok cooldown has gone down by 20 seconds at first rank. So nice little buffs. He's still probably not a top tier, top lane or jungle, but he's who turned down the buff really.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that the cooldown change is going to make him a bit more appealing as a mid-game team fighter. So, like the Ragnarok it's going to pay off. Like previously, 120 seconds compared to 100 seconds, that's massive, especially with how much cooldown people are going to have from their runes and masteries these days. So, it's definitely it's not just a quality of life change. Anyone who plays Olaf regularly is definitely going to notice the difference.
Yeah, for sure. It's just how many people play Olaf.
Yeah, pretty much. Very, very few these days. Ever since the great Olafing.
Yeah, which was deserved. Very deserved.
Look at this, the Shen news. It's big.
Yeah. Finally in the LCS. I think he got played once or something this super week.
Did he? He didn't last week. We were talking about that.
Yeah, like I think he got played once.
No, I don't think he did. I don't think he got picked in not in the LCS.
Okay, not sure.
No, he got hovered over about 5 times. I got really excited.
Yeah. Well, that's progress right there. That's something.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Alistair got picked up a few times.
Oh yeah.
No, yeah, like Shen being enabled the same patch that they buffed Maokai and what's the other one? Gragas. You know, well, Gragas has been buffed for a little while, but those are the two that are being played in top lane, and Shen doesn't really do well against either of them.
No.
You know, it's like the people who would do well against are the people that he couldn't fight because he was disabled. And that's, you know, Renekton, Shyvana, Mundo.
I mean, Shen doesn't really do like well against anybody. He just doesn't do badly against everybody. Like he's one of those guys that like he's so tough. He's got mobility. He's got a shield. Like, you can't easily kill him. But at the same time, there's very few people that he would dumpster in top lane, which, I mean...
he doesn't dumpster anyone. However, he's very good in a 2v1 situation because you cannot dive him.
Yeah.
He can heal from last hitting with his Q.
Yeah.
He can shield off any kind of trades that might be going on. He can last it under his tower for days. That's fine.
Yeah.
And if you're going to 3-man dive him, they don't care. They'll take the tower.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, having said that, if he does get fed... Like, if he does get a lot of, like, good CS, if he can actually do a fair bit of damage, but it's not amazing. It's just not, you know, it's just not terrible either. So
you don't take Shen for the damage. You take him for what he brings to a team composition. What he brings to a team composition is pretty damn amazing.
I guess it's just one of the things that he actually does a surprising amount of damage for what you think of him as what he does. So if you do it right.
Yeah, well, anyway. You can win trades. You're just like, okay, I'm going against Shen. He doesn't do much damage. I'm not doing any damage to him, but he's doing a little bit of damage to me.
Yeah, that's it.
I should probably leave.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm trying to leave. Oh, he's talking to me.
His vein has turned up. Now I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
He's basically a really good pick for when you don't know how to play top lane very well and you don't want to die. That's how I use him pretty much because my top lane's terrible. And if I just want some invincible character up there and wait for the rest of my teammates to carry me, Shen's my go-to man.
Excellent.
Cool. Well, let's move on to some of the stuff that's going on in mid. So Kayle has had a little bit of a buff back. I mean, she's been nerfed a little bit after 4.11. She's had an increase of 0.05 to her E AP ratio, and which is actually significantly, her ultimate has had the cooldown reduced by 10 seconds on rank 1 and 5 seconds on rank 2. So, you know, I'm actually a little bit surprised that because they made such an effort to nerf her. It's interesting that they've brought her back a bit.
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going for that balanced approach. Like, they want people to be able to pick whichever champion that they feel is going to match their team composition and combo and all that kind of stuff. They don't want it to be this person's the most powerful, so they always get picked, you know, because that was where Kayle was until they nerfed her and then she dropped off, you know.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of her in solo queue since the nerf. She was like 100% pickle ban in like low pre-nerf, and since then I haven't actually seen her, and I've only actually just seen her again today, and she's still extremely strong in the late game when she gets, even not particularly fed, if she's just able to get to the late game, she's still tremendous menace. But yeah, I don't know, I haven't really sort of seen much more of her than that.
Yeah, I mean, I even before she was nerfed, I didn't see a whole lot of her, which is interesting because she was used at such a competitive level. It's just funny how these things work out. But
I was seeing tons of her in solo queue, and we play similar elo. I'm surprised you didn't see more of her.
Not really.
Have you actually read the LeBlanc changes?
Yeah.
Read it.
Like, what is it? The quote for what they're changing in LeBlanc is, "I'm not re-summarizing a single line of a change. You're going to have to read it. Go on."
Go on.
And then they've got the one line.
Yeah.
Without a silence, LeBlanc is even more reliant on distortion as it lets her sneak around the map for clever ambushes, and they lowered the mana at maximum rank by 20 and at level 1 by nothing.
Yeah.
So
That's
whoop-de-doo.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a nice. I mean, a lot of these changes are actually nice little changes, like nice little buffs or slight nerfs, to different champions. So I mean, LeBlanc doesn't really need much more. Even with the silence gone, she's still powerful. It's funny. She's completely disappeared from the planet in Bronze. But eventually, people will realize how good she is, and they'll come back to her. So, yeah. Lysandra. So Lysandra has had the cooldown on her Q has been reduced at max rank. The AP ratio has been reduced on her W, and her R now slow in the sort of area around whoever gets stunned.
Significantly more.
Yeah. So at 10% more at first rank, 35% more, 75% slow at max rank, which is just huge. So we're going to see, I guess we're in a situation with the meta where top lane APs kind of work. Lysandra's probably got a better chance now than she has for quite a few months now. Is this going to be enough to sort of tip her over into the...
It might be because she was really good. She was a really good top laner in Korea for a while, and they used to combo her quite nicely with Orianna. They could do some serious, just you carry the ball, you teleport in there, whomp, they did some really nice stuff with Lysandra, and I'm excited about that because I always get kind of I giggle a little bit whenever Monte Cristo and Doa hear Lysandra's sound effects, because in the Korean version of League of Legends, she makes these big like these really dramatic sounding noises, and that always makes me smile. So I hope that this is what she needs to get back in.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's she hasn't really. I mean, she was really in favor for a while, and then she kind of disappeared for a while. So I guess she's probably one of those champs where it's just kind of very situational when she'll be in the meta and when not.
Yeah,
which is alright.
She's one of those champions that could be picked up as a surprise last pick at any given moment. Like it's similar to Tryndamere, not quite the same. But if you don't have a way to deal with Lysandra, or Lysandra, it would be devastating against the team comp, and they've got last pick, bam, they could just lock that in, and you're in a lot of trouble.
Cool. All right. Another nice little change. Now we're starting to get into somebody who really does need to have the crap nerfed out of her, which is Lulu. So her Glitterlance slow decay, so the drop off from her slow, it no longer scales with AP. It says removed. Might as well been a snare. Yes, it was. And then they've reduced the movement speed buff duration from 5 seconds at all rank. This is on a W to from 3 seconds to 5 seconds, and but they've reduced the mana cost at higher levels, so that's okay. I mean, I don't think this is a huge... I mean, the Glitterlance change is relatively big, but I don't think the Whimsy change is that huge. I mean, 3 seconds... A 3 second movement buff is still quite a bit. Like, that's quite a long time. That's well and truly enough time to get to a tower.
Wherever you need to get to.
Yeah, at early stages. I mean, 5 seconds is like forever at the start of the game.
Well, it's still 5 seconds at max rank, so it's just the early stages that we're talking about. But quite often, like, Korea has a very different metagame to a lot of the regions, where almost every single fight is decided by catching someone out and then everyone kind of converging on them. And if you've got Lulu there and you can speed buff your Lee Sin or speed buff yourself and get to that fight even a second and a half earlier, that can mean the difference between a won and lost team fight, with getting a dragon or a tower or both. So I think that will be a much bigger deal in the hands of really, really, really skilled players that are currently using Lulu for that. But in solo queue and everything, I think it's probably going to be about as effective as it is. The Glitterlance is where it's really going to hit the solo queue scene.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. Now, Vel'Koz has had a nice little buff. The missile width on his W has been increased to 88, and he's got 50 more units on the length of his R. So not huge things, but little things that work out. By the way, played against a Vel'Koz support, being played by a Plat, and he just destroyed me. So Vel'Koz support does an awful lot of damage.
Hidden OP?
Yeah.
Question mark?
I don't know if he's hidden OP, but certainly against me being crap. He's hidden
we
OP.
talked about Vel'Koz when he came out, because Vel'Koz's numbers are actually very impressive. At all levels, he's pretty much really, really good. The problem that he has is that he's got absolutely no mobility. Yep. He's got slow kind of movement speed. All of his abilities require him to stand still for a second. That's why you don't see Vel'Koz played in the mid lane. You see him played as support because of his amazing poke.
Yeah.
And the missile width increase
so
is just
much
gonna
damage.
make it better. Yeah, the damage is just off the charts.
I think the interesting thing about that, though, is that now Xerath is a thing. Before, no one was playing Xerath, but all of a sudden Xerath became viable at all levels of play, obviously LCS included. So, and he's obviously completely immobile. So the argument that that he's viable but Vel'Koz is not, I think, very interested to see how that plays out. Maybe people will start revisiting Vel'Koz now and think, well, if we can make Xerath work, maybe we can make Vel'Koz work.
I mean, there's a very big difference because Xerath has an amazingly long-range ult. He can
totally.
If there's a fight near our blue buff and our jungle's been picked off, just boom, boom, boom. That's where that'll happen. Also, you're finding a lot more that laning matchups matter less and less on the professional circuit because almost nobody gets a 1v1 kill. It's all about the jungler coming in and making that opportunity for that kill. If you watch, 9 games out of 10 through the Super Week, I think you'll find, they just do not get 1v1 kills. So the laning matchup matters less and less. And Xerath's quite good at whatever the laning matchup is. I'm just going to sit back, farm, harass, whatever.
True.
I think also, his poke goes through the wave, and the stun is actually deceptively long range. So I think that probably helps a bit as well. True. Where Vel'Koz is a little bit, he's not quite as long range, and so that gives him a bit more vulnerability.
But if you get a life form disintegration ray going through a team of 5, and you can't get to that Vel'Koz, you are dead.
Yeah,
that team fight is already over. Yeah. It's just the amount of damage that he can put out is just mad.
Yeah. Every time I talk about Vel'Koz, I just want to play him, but I don't play enough mid that I'd get to use him. But it's so good. Anyway,
he's quite safe to play actually, so long as you are playing very passive during the laning phase, because he's got a bit of range on him. He's got slow. He's got all that sort of stuff to keep himself alive. He's just very open to ganks if you overextend, but in the late game, he's very dangerous. If you're out of position at all, he just instantly dies. So that's where the skill cap comes in, I think.
All right, moving along. We're going to try and get through most of these now because they're quite short. Yasuo. This is anything that nerfs Yasuo is good in my book. So he's passive. His shield duration is going down to 1 second. His Q has a slightly longer minimum cast time, and his wind wall now no longer grants passive movement from dashing. So basically, he's going to have. I mean, the main thing is his shield now lasts for a shorter period of time, and he doesn't charge as quickly, which I think is a good thing. I mean, not that I play against Yasuo that often, but it just seems that the few times I have, it just seems like he's constantly got his shield up, which just makes it very hard to lane against.
You can't trade with him.
Yeah, you can't. So this is a good thing. I like it.
Yeah, he needs to be tuned down. There's no question about that. And I think he needs to be hit in pretty much all areas. So I think any moves in this front is pretty good. They recently nerfed it as well, where they took his E down as well, which is his dash. He used to be able to stack 100% bonus damage. Now it caps out at 50%. So this is even further nerfs for him. So it's big stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he needs. I think he's getting to a point where he's getting quite reasonable. I think the main issue was that he was kind of too tough for someone who's supposed to be like,
so
for the amount of damage he has. So
stack damage and still,
yeah. And I think he's just a bit more vulnerable now, and I think that's a good thing. And I mean, doing lots of damage is fine as long as there's vulnerability in that, which by being virtue of being melee there is. But I think he's probably starting to get to the point where you might not need to really nerf him a whole lot more, and he should be viable at competitive level and good in solo queue. But has like a healthy play, like a healthy effect on the mid lane. So, yeah.
Look, this one actually escaped me when I read through the notes the first time. Graves has had the base damage on his ultimate increased at levels 2 and 3.
Oh, did we talk about Ziggs last week, by the way?
Ziggs. Pretty sure we covered Ziggs, but whatever. They increased his cooldown on his Mega Inferno bomb.
So good. Anything that's a nerf to Ziggs is good. It's a bit like anything that's a nerf to Yasuo is good. Anything that's a nerf to Ziggs is good. So anyway, just wanted to say. Yes, Graves. So and he's got like a 5% increase to damage at short range. So I mean, it's nice, but in the end, the problem is not his damage, but his itemization.
Graves.
Yeah.
Why do you say that? What do you mean?
Well, Bloodthirst is no longer as good as it was. And that's like the mainstay of his...
That's what he needs. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure, true.
And I mean, that's the same with Varus, the same with Sivir. It's probably some... And Misfortune as well.
Also,
like, they all really heavily relied on Bloodthirst having as much AD as it did, and now it doesn't. So, what can you do?
Well, I think this is to compensate directly for those itemization problems, because 100 extra base damage on his ultimate... and it scales quite well. I can't remember what the exact scaling is, but it was good. Like, he's just going to be able to blow people up. I think that's good. I still don't think he's even close to being...
It's 150% at the first enemy, and then 120 in everybody behind the explosion.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
I guess part of this has to come from when Lucian was being buffed. Everyone was asking, why the hell would we play Graves now? Because Lucian does everything that Graves does. He just does it better. You know. So I guess he definitely needed some love. And I guess it's a good thing.
I mean, I'm actually really shocked they didn't reduce the cost on his dash to 0 mana.
Yeah. That's, you should have that.
That seems really unfair.
True. Yeah, you're right. So yeah.
Oh, I just got notification that Saomi got her skin. Congratulations!
Oh, what did she get?
Fiddle me timbers.
Okay, not bad.
I suspect they'll probably look at that itemization issue with those like pokey AD champion, AD carries in the end of the season. Like, I think it'll be a good time for them to look at how can they get an item that gives lots of AD but kind of is healthy. So I suspect I don't think they'll fix it up before Worlds. I think it'll just be too much work. They're trying to make they're not trying to make big changes.
No, I think Graves will be an ongoing project.
Yeah.
Similar to Cassidon, but on the other end of the scale.
Yeah.
This guy.
Yeah. Jinx. So now Jinx is more excitable. Woo!
I love that they put the patch notes are in all caps with explanation points. I love it.
Jinx now gets excited when she contributes to killing an inhibitor. Uninhibited excitement is the little thing. So that's nice. Good change. Nothing, what's not to disagree about that. Now Cogmore, so they're trying to make him a bit riskier at the early levels, which I'm pretty sure they did at 112 as well. They've reduced his base health. They've reduced his... Actually, I think we have already talked about this.
We did.
Yep. Okay,
we did last week, yeah.
Did we talk about Lucian?
Yep, we talked about this.
I think we've talked about Lucian every week.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Guy's a prick. Get rid of him.
His E no longer removes slows, and it's on a larger cooldown now. So he's not broken now. He's just strong.
Sivir, she's had her the movement speed on her later ranks of her ult. It gives move speed for now 6 seconds instead of 4. Again, a nice little change. I mean, I guess one of the things with these changes with Sivir and Graves is that they're nice little buffs, but if somebody figures out to itemize properly with them, it's not going to make them out of control. So that's good.
Sivir has seen some competitive play quite recently. I remember.
Has she?
I think about 2, maybe 3 weeks ago. I remember Double Lift pulled her out with a combination of Alistar and Orianna, I believe. And they really utilized that movement speed to set up some amazing headbutt pulverize combos into the Orianna shockwave. There was some really nice stuff that they've done with that movement speed. So it'll be very interesting to see how the pros use the extra 2 seconds. Because as we said as I said when we were talking about Lulu, is the difference of 2 seconds on a movement speed buff on the higher level of play can actually make a massive difference. So here's hoping that's what this does. Also, I'd just like to point out that Sivir's ultimate giving movement speed less than Lulu's frickin' shield. So, yeah. Thank you.
Balanced.
Yeah, like what is that? That's up there with Nidalee Spears doing like 5 times the damage of Corky's rockets when they're his ultimate. You know, I'm
To be
glad
fair
that they
though,
fixed
it is the whole team. It is the whole team with Siva's ult
Yeah.
Yes, true.
versus Lulu, which is just one. So
Tristana now is a bit weaker in the early game. The slow duration on her rocket jump has gone from 2.5 seconds at all ranks to 1 at low first rank and 3 at fifth rank. So that's a good change. I mean,
the massive, just huge nerf is they're reducing the damage on explosive shot by 30 at rank 1. That is huge. Like, because Tristana, like I think I've said this like 8 times on the podcast. Tristana's really good at level 2. She's all right at level 3. She's pretty useless at level 4 through 5. She's good at level 6 and then drops off until she hits level 13.
Yeah.
Like that is her incredibly strange power spikes and everything like that. This change is going to make her very different. She's basically not going to power spike until very, very late, unless you're putting at least 2 points in her Q, and even then, that's a difference of, what, 25 damage?
Yeah.
From what she used to do?
Yeah, well, level 2 is now 125 instead of 150, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, and then 170, and I don't think... it doesn't really cross over in the amount of damage it does until level... Yeah, it's basically lower across the board. It's not like it's some points it's higher.
But explosive shot did sod all damage late game. Like,
oh yeah.
Seriously,
you use it for the grievous wounds.
Yeah, that's right. You're hitting with your attack speed buff and your auto attacks with your Infinity Edge, Phantom Dancer, or Static Shiv or whatever. That's where your damage is coming from, and that's where her damage will always come from.
Yeah.
But
as somebody, I think it's Pirate Monkey has mentioned in the chat, which I thought of, is this nerfs AP Tristana.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank God.
yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. Friggin' hate AP Trist. She is such a toxic build.
I really don't like AP Tristana on my team when I'm in ARAMs, because I just find it such a waste. It's like, you're going to be really good for the first 5 or 6 levels, and then you're going to be useless, and we could be using you as an AD carry and just destroying their tank line. But that's neither here nor there. But I think AP Tristana should have a place, because one of the reasons that you see, maybe not so right now, but some champions are picked up because they can be played in multiple lanes. Lulu's a perfect example of that at the moment. You can play her mid, support, or top, and that's what makes her a safe first pick or a second pick. Having Tristana being able to be played ability power or attack damage was very important to her flexibility. Now, we're not going to be seeing that on the professional side of things, but in ranked queues, like in ranked 5s and everything like that, that gave you a flexibility that not a lot of people would have seen coming.
Yeah, see, I see it totally differently. I think it's just a byproduct of them, because she was a beta champion, and like Master Yi and like Sion, they didn't know where the game would go. They didn't, the whole AP scaling thing didn't quite work in the same way, and essentially it's just a relic. And I think I don't think it has a place. I think it's a terrible, if they want to get rid of unpleasant patterns of play to play against, I think AP Tristana has to go, because it's like AP Sion, it's like AP Yi. You do this incredible amount of burst damage in a completely there's no counterplay in any way, shape, or form. Like, basically, Tristana's hanging back, and then she just all-ins you, and then she backs off. Like, there's no. It's
sounding very similar to Syndra, who's like a top pick at the moment.
Well, yeah, except Syndra, there is counterplay, because she's actually got skill shots for all of her abilities except her ult. And and even then, it's really short range. There's no, it's not like she has to walk up to you unless she flashes. She has to walk up to you, and what she usually do is she'll stun you at long range and then walk up and get you. But at least there's some strategy there. Tristana, she uses her jump to get in, and then she just blows you up, and that's it. It's like, it's really like it's like AP Sion. Sion stuns you, walks up, blows up your shield, walks away. Like, there's nothing interesting in that. So, I hope, and I suspect that AP Tristana will go the way of APE and eventually AP Sion, which is just to disappear. She might have some AP scaling, but it just won't be like stupid AP scaling like it is now.
Well, if they're gonna change that, I hope they get rid of it all, and that it all scales off attack damage, because then having half your skills attack damage and half ability power just means that you will never get one of them.
Well, no, I mean Kog'Maw's got a mix.
Yeah.
And it just means he goes Treeforce.
An ability power item is a Trinity Force.
Yeah, that's all right.
But even so, people are building Infinity Edge on him as well. So
yeah, well, I mean, you could do the same with Tristana.
Trinity Force is not an ability power item. It has ability power on it. It's like Frozen Mallet. It's not a tank item. It has HP on it.
Yeah. I mean, but there's other people. I mean, heck, Boomerang Blame on Sivir has an AP ratio, 50%. So I mean, sometimes they have AP ratios and champions that don't really use a whole lot of AP just because they get a Trinity Force, and so it's just a little nice thing. And so it might just be that Tristana mainly is AD, but she has one thing, like maybe her rocket jump, or maybe like one of her abilities has an AP ratio where everything else is AD. I mean, that's okay. I mean, just right now it's like 100% AP ratio, 150% AP ratio. Like, that's just stupid.
Yes, I agree. Those ratios are insane.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. So we got Varus. Varus has now got a little quality of life change. He's got an indicator of when his Q's going, and more interestingly, his ultimates had a reduction of 10 seconds on the cooldown at low ranks and 20 seconds at high ranks, which I think is great because I think Varus, his ultimate is really powerful. And really good, especially like for me as a Leona player. You can actually initiate with Varus and then follow up with Leona. So things like that is makes for some great plays. Plus, it actually does a lot of damage if you manage to get 3 of his stacks on it. So it's good, nice little things. And Vayne has actually had a buff. Her attack speed per level's gone up to 4 from 3.1. And there was a bug involving her tumble that gave her bonus AD, and now it's just moved into her final hour, her ultimate. So, she's got a bonus 5 at rank 1 and a bonus 15 attack damage at max rank. So that's a pretty big buff to Vayne.
Yep, definitely.
So basically, late game Vayne is now more dangerous than she was before, which is kind of
just to say
psycho.
She's crazy, yeah. No, I've actually been seeing a lot more of her since patch, and I mean, Vayne is Vayne, but yeah, she's even more Vayne. She's just sort of stronger in the laning phase now, so she's definitely a more featured pick these days in solo queue, I've noticed.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the question is to what extent, like, because I mean, really, she wasn't, like, Kog'Maw and Tristana have both had a stronger early game than her, and of course, Lucian's just been dominant anyway, so maybe with Tristana and Kog'Maw being nerfed a bit, that will sort of add her back into the mix.
Possibly. Yeah. I think the tower changes a while ago were really the reason that Vayne hasn't really come out, because Vayne was almost exclusively used in lane swap comps. It was all about, going in, warding early, find out where their bottom lane's going, and then go the other spot so that you don't get zoned out.
It's true.
But we said a while ago with the attack speed item buffs, how you were getting better cost effectiveness out of your attack speed items that should be more powerful already. So that in combination with the attack speed and the buff to her ultimate, who knows? Because she's been picked up in professional play occasionally. She's again similar to Tryndamere and Lissandra, that you only pick her when you know that they can't kill you.
Yeah.
So that's I'm looking forward to seeing her.
All right, let's talk about some support changes now. Sona's had quite a significant rework on her abilities, and I love the phrase "snuggle zones." That's now how they describe the area around. And I mean, I might play a bit more of her, and maybe talk about it later. But I think
Karen likes to snuggle.
I do like to snuggle. And who doesn't want to snuggle?
Tracy.
And
the Trinity Force podcast. I went to the snuggle zone.
Whoa!
Okay.
Whoa! That's our new opening line.
Yeah,
that's our new opening song, by the way, right there.
I think the changes have quite good. I mean, I've only played a couple of games with her, but they seem pretty nice. I mean, the new particles are awesome.
They're good.
She just got the same problem that she's had for a while, which is she's super squishy, and if you go Leona, you just dump all over her. So that's the main problem with Sona. Her abilities are better, and the new Q does they feel good. I mean, that's the main thing. Like, there's no hidden stats anymore. It feels a lot more impactful in these little bursts. But yeah, I mean, she's still got the same place in the meta as before. which is to say that aggressive supports are going to destroy her. Thresh, Leona, she's just got nothing she can do. Like, her CC isn't good enough to sort of stop them from jumping all over her all through the early game. So, it's nice, but I don't think it's going to change the meta at all.
No, I don't think it changes much. I think you say that Leona is quite powerful in terms of her poke, though. I will say that. If Leona wants to stack a bit more AP at the beginning and she wants to build more aggressively at the beginning, she actually hits quite hard.
She does, yeah.
So I find it interesting you say, should just run into that problem where Leona, you just sort of dump all over you. I kind of think that if this Sona is playing correctly, they should just be able to poke you and outscale you, not outscale you, sort of outsustain you, such that you really can't engage properly. That's certainly what I've seen good Sonas do in the past.
I mean, it's true, but at the same time, the poke is pretty close range, and if at level 2 or 3 you come into poke and then I all in you as Leona, and then depending who you play with, they start, basically if we just dogpile on you. Like, she does not have the tankiness to withstand that. And even with her new, I don't think the shield on her W? One of them, the green one. W. I don't think it's strong enough to really stop that from happening. So maybe what they'll end up doing now that they've taken away all these free stats from the team and they've made it more about the abilities and sort of these short bursts, they might strengthen, like make her a bit tougher again. Which I think would definitely bring her back into the mix. But just as of right now, she just dies so quickly, and you can't get too close. Like, you need to if you're playing Leona, you hang back. So if Sona comes up to get you, she's just too close. So it's just too risky. So yeah, I guess we'll see what happens if they start buffing her. I think she definitely will become much more viable. All right. Wow, we've only got like 5 minutes left, really.
Whoa.
It's like 7 o'clock. Oh, it's 7 o'clock my time. All right. Let's. What do we mention? Well, let's maybe just.
We talked about most of the supports last week.
Yeah.
That's what's left on the list. So.
Okay. All right. Well, did we talk about Janna?
Janna's
still not good. The TLDR is. Janna's still not that great.
TLDR with Carrot Colossus?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we did talk about her because I remember mentioning the cooldown starting from the beginning of the channel.
Yeah. So the only other things are the support items, which is Frostfangs and Frost Queen's Flame. A little bit less gold per 5. Good change because they already get a lot of gold. And the Ancient Coin line has got movement speed added and CDR lost. So actually, I think we did talk about that.
Yeah, we did.
Yep.
I want to talk about this for a second. New search terms. If you search for yellow, it'll bring up all totems. If you bring up red, it'll bring up all lenses. If you search for blue, it'll bring up all orbs. If you search for green, it'll bring up all sight wards. And if you search for pink, it'll bring up all vision wards.
Cool.
That's awesome. I mean, they're right at the top of the screen, so you probably don't need to search for them, but it's nice to know that they're there.
Yeah. It is a nice little change. All right. Well, I think that pretty much finishes it for the patch notes. So we'll just do. I got a shout out. We still got a question from Scrub Phoenix. We'll still get to it, mate. It's a really good question about keeping a positive attitude in game. Now, before I've got some shout outs. Do you have shout outs before we finish up?
Well, I want to shout out to everyone in the Twitch chat. Who's been there? We've got Ali, we've got Modbrat, we've got Red Pirate Monkey, and
my mate Victor Pradley there.
Victor Pradley, I believe he was there earlier. He hasn't said anything in a while. If you're there, let us know, Victor.
Yeah, Victor.
Tribal Mind's in there as well. Good guys. All right. And I want to give a shout out to Modbro for 2 reasons. Firstly, because he's just had a baby, so congratulations to him and his missus.
Yay!
So I think the baby is still yet unnamed, so we need to find out. You still need to get that League of Legends name.
Need to name it after a champion. Call it Teemo, please.
Yeah. No.
Call it Teemo.
Call it Nah.
Yes.
Nah.
They won't get teased at all. I promise. Trust.
And the other reason I give a shout out to is because, and I'm going to put the link in the Twitch chat, is he pestered Area of Defect, the guys who've done the latest Trinity Force podcast intro about doing a Declawed-based set of lyrics from one of their songs, and he provided the lyrics. And I've just put the link in the chat, and it is hilarious. So, well done to you, sir, for A, coming up with such great lyrics, and B, getting him to do it. So now we might have to put it in the podcast as well, because it's just so funny. And that pretty much does it for episode 48. Thanks for joining us and us and our cake on this 1 year episode. Actually, we did have a quick question. Maybe we can finish on this. We'll quickly finish. So we had a question for Tribal Mind in the Razor comms. He said, did you think we would get this far after 1 year? Not sure. Has there been any particular surprises? So as we finish, what's been your surprise for this year from doing the podcast? Clara, go.
I would say the Christmas episode was a really just a very pleasant surprise. Being able to have just all of these big names come on and help us celebrate our final show of the year before we did all the interviews and stuff. That was awesome. We had like Gnome Sane and Pastry Time. We had Menace. We had Papa Smithy. And I think Carrot Colossus and Way Too Strong were there as well. I think so. That was shout out to Way Too Strong for helping Carrot and I start this entire thing up. I'm not even sure if he listens to the podcast. I'll tell him to listen to this episode. Everybody bug him on Twitter. Thank you, Way, for helping us get started.
Indeed. Ralph, is there anything in the last? I don't know.
In the last however long. How long have I been here now?
I don't know.
I think it must be maybe 3 months or so.
Yeah, I'd say so.
At least 11 weeks, because you've lost a lot of games in the fantasy.
True that. I think that's very true, actually. No major surprises for me. I think getting the microphones is pretty sweet from Trinity Force. When they received a $1,337 donation, we were able to kit ourselves out with some proper microphones. So that was very cool. That was very exciting, and that was pretty much it for me.
Yeah, I've just enjoyed getting involved in the community and meeting people and talking with them, and it's just been really great to be part of it all. So I think that's for me. It's no surprise. Just kidding. I guess. I mean, in some ways, when you start off,
you say it like that. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm surprised that people actually like the show in a sense. Like, you do this thing and that's it. Yeah. Like you don't know. Like you put this thing out and then you get this response, and you're like, wow, people actually really like what you're doing. So that's for me what's been one of the more enjoyable things, is knowing that you guys dig what we do and we dig what you do as well, guys, because you're all awesome. So with that, stay awesome, and we'll be back again next week.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.